today, on this beautiful day, we are going to make ghee. Ghee is a flavored, clarified butter. It's made, many different cultures around the world use this as a basis for cooking. It takes the heat a little bit better than butter that has not been clarified. And it gives you an opportunity to infuse your butter with flavor. And the idea here is not that this is going to be all the spices you put in your dish. Rather, that when you start and you're like sauteing onions, you're sauteing them in all this goodness, just from the very beginning. So it just adds that extra depth to your dish. So I have here 15 cardamom pods, and I'm going to just smash those. I have 1 star anise, 3 cloves, a cinnamon stick. I'll be using a tablespoon of oregano, a teaspoon of fenugreek, a teaspoon of turmeric, 3 garlic cloves all mushed up. I have 1/4 cup of shallot chopped, and a 2-inch piece of ginger, and I just chopped that. I didn't worry about getting it too fine, because we're going to strain all this out of after we cook it. And 1 pound of butter. So that's everything that we're going to be using, and I have these in here so I can just smash them a little bit, open them up, so we'll be able to get at the goodness. You know, it's like thinking about these, and you know, cardamom. What is that? What does that flavor remind me of? And you know, when I smell it, I smell Trix.
Trix cereal?
Yeah.
But Trix are for kids.
Yeah, but that's kind of the. It surprised me too. So we're just going to take our cardamom seeds, cloves, cinnamon stick, star anise, and we are going to cook this a little bit till they get a little bit fragrant. We're just trying to get a little bit of a little bit more out of them, toast them a little bit, and get a little bit more aromatics out of them. And then at the same time, I'm going to start melting this butter, because that's going to take a little while.
I felt like you should have said a pound of butter, y'all. You know.
Yeah.
Who I'm talking about?
Yep. And then, you know, when we're all done, we just eat this with a spoon.
Yeah. Over your ice cream.
So once I have this toasted and the butter started to melt a little bit, I'm just going to throw everything in there. And then the idea is that we want to heat this and let it kind of steep on the heat. We don't want it to boil. Don't want to burn the milk fat. We just want to infuse this butter with all this goodness, and that will take probably about 1.5 hours. And then we'll strain it, and we will have our ghee.
How do you strain it?
We strain it. Pour it over cheesecloth.
I gotcha.
So I think we'll come back in just a couple minutes. All right, so these have toasted up. We be careful not to burn them. And I will say they smell great, but they don't smell quite so much like Trix anymore. So that goes right into our butter. Now, as I said before, different cultures and all around the world use some version of clarified butter. This particular recipe is Ethiopian, and it has just a slightly different herb profile than, say, if this was Indian or Moroccan. But they're all very similar. I think one of the biggest differences of this one is it has oregano and it has fenugreek, which you won't find nearly as much of in Indian cooking. Not that you wouldn't find it, but I think that's one of the things that sets this aside. And I really like this recipe, and I use it for Indian cooking and anything where I think this flavor is going to be an addition. But the nice thing about this is you can put whatever you'd like in here.
And I keep forgetting to use it for things that I cook, like...
You could cook eggs with this.
Yeah, eggs, or maybe even when I cook a steak. I haven't done that, but I never think about it.
So I've got my tablespoon of oregano. And a teaspoon of fenugreek. Ah, the spoon fits. And a teaspoon of our wonderful turmeric. And that is everything that goes in here. And now we are just going to once this butter gets done melting, then this will start to come to a cooking point, and I do not want it to, I don't want it to really boil. I want it to just very gently cook these flavors into the butter. It smells delicious though. So we will, I guess we'll come back once I've got it at the right heat level and show you what that looks like. So here's about the level of cooking that I'm after. I might even turn this down just a little bit more, but it's, you know, it's not going ferociously or anything. And I should also add that this is commonly made with unsalted butter. I prefer to make it with salted butter myself. You just do it however you'd like. And another thing is that sometimes people will pull this foam off while it's cooking, and I'm not too big on that. I don't get too concerned about the foam, and a lot of it gets caught up in the cheesecloth at the end. So you can scrape that off as it cooks, or you can just leave it to the end. And actually having a little bit of the milk solids in there is fine with me, but it makes it so it won't tolerate as high a heat. All right, so this has been an hour and a half over here, and you can see it's clear with lumps, and we'll see how many of those lumps come out in our cheesecloth. And I have this, so you know, a pound of butter should be approximately 2 cups, so I have a half-pint jar there, and this should work out just fine. Yeah, I can't pour the other direction. So. So it looks like it's coming out really clear. The solids are all staying behind.
Oh, perfect jar size.
And I'm going to just try and get every bit I can out of this. See, look how clear that is. Man, it's incredible. So that is our beautiful clarified butter. And I just really like the flavor that it adds to things, and I also like the way it makes the house smell while you're making it.
Yeah,
it really smells good in here. Like in the, no, never mind.
I know the inside joke. Let's keep it there.
Give me just a second to try to get a little bit more of this out of here. It's just going to be a few more drops. It's not really much of anything. I mean, you can see that's the pan's full of just nothing but chunks. All right, I think that's good. And voila, our beautiful jar of clarified butter, ghee. So, thank you for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and we'll see you next time.